I'm going to be reading Mark's account of Jesus' crucifixion in Mark chapter 15, verses 25 through 32. Now it was 9 a.m. when they crucified him. The inscription of the charge written against him was "The King of the Jews." They crucified two criminals with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by were yelling insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "Ha! The one who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Save yourself by coming down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests with the scribes were mocking him among themselves and saying, "He saved others, but he cannot save himself. Let the Messiah, the King of Israel, come down now from the cross, so that we may see and believe." Even those who were crucified with him taunted him. When we read these crucifixion stories, I think it's easy to focus on the physical torment and suffering that Jesus underwent, which is a very real and critical aspect of the crucifixion and what Jesus endured for us. Today, I'd like to focus on two additional aspects we might not think about quite as much in the crucifixion story. One is that Jesus resisted temptation, and two is that he exercised authority. So Satan wanted to attack Jesus when he was most physically vulnerable. That's why he attacked him here on the cross with these insults and temptations to come down. If we read in Matthew 4, Jesus had just finished fasting 40 days and 40 nights and was in a state of weakness as well. In verse 5, it says, "Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, 'If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down. For it is written, he will give his angels orders concerning you, and they will support you with their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone.'" Satan was referencing Psalm 91. Jesus told him, "It's also written, do not test the Lord your God." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their splendor. And he said to him, "I will give you all these things if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus told him, "Go away, Satan, for it's written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Interestingly, Satan takes Jesus to a high point on the temple and tells him to throw himself down, and also takes him to a high point to show him the kingdoms in the world and says, "Fall down and worship me." Satan knew that as long as Jesus was up on that cross, his mission and his purpose would be accomplished for eternity, and Satan's plans would be foiled. He was coming at Jesus from every angle. Those who passed by, the scribes, the chief priests, the criminals beside him, "Come down from the cross. Throw yourself down." In the Old Testament, Moses had a bronze snake, and God instructed him to lift up that bronze snake, and all who looked on that bronze snake would be healed. Jesus referenced that story in John 3, verses 14 and 15, and knew that as long as he stayed on that cross, others who looked to him for salvation would be healed, would be saved for all eternity. That's why he remained on that cross. Despite all of the temptation, despite the physical weakness that he was enduring, he resisted and remained on that cross. And in doing so, exercised authority. He said, "I have authority to lay down my life and to take it up again." That's from John 10:18. Ironically, Jesus laid down his life by staying up on the cross. Friends, as we warm up for this workout, let's think about not only the physical suffering that Jesus endured, but the temptation he resisted and the authority he exercised, and that as a result, all who look to him will be saved.